What I needed was not a new weapon, but a new animal.
A new animal?
Exactly so.
You found one?
Yes. Here on my island, I hunt the most dangerous game.
Most dangerous game?
Most dangerous game? What could it be?
The game I am hunting is all of you.
We are going to hunt you cricket.
What happens if I get caught?
Ooh, don't get caught. Don't get caught. Well, there he goes.
Hunt man? You raving maniac.
Well, conventional wisdom says good fleeing will always be good chasing. But the stats say put your money on the guy with the gun.
And the hunt begins.
Indeed, indeed. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Most Dangerous Podcast, a show about all of the incarnations of the most dangerous game. I'm Travis Fishburne.
I am Alex Brunel.
I'm Dustin Meadows.
And this week we are covering a 60s cult classic, Confessions of a Psychocat.
Yep. So
We did it.
As we discussed previously, a surprising number of adaptations of Most Dangerous Game from the 60s and 70s turned out to just kind of be exploitation movies. Mm-hmm. Rather than doing all of them and kind of focusing the podcast that way, we nominated Confessions of a Psychocat, which, having watched this, I'm very glad we chose this movie. I loved this movie. The nudity sex aspect of it was perfect in that it was 1,000,000% unnecessary and completely removed from the actual plot of the movie, which it does have. This movie has more character than The Hunted, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had a great time with this movie. I have more thoughts, but we'll get into them. What about you fellas? Dustin, perhaps?
I thought it was fine.
Oh man.
There are parts of it that I enjoyed. Like the woman doing the hunting, I thought she was terrific.
Yeah.
And I feel like there were just a lot of things about this movie that kind of just took away from it. Like, and she kind of stood out to me above everything else. I think it's also, this is a genre that I am relatively unfamiliar with. Like, I know who Russ Myers is, but I've never seen a Russ Myers film.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, at most, I've seen this kind of film parodied, but I've never actually seen any of these. So I think that was probably a lot of it for me, was I was just in a different mindset. Like,
I see. Okay.
I went and I was like, all right, this is going to be not what it was. Like, I expected it to kind of be a little more on point, because like when you were talking about it last week, it was like, oh, it's the Most Dangerous Game, but it's somebody hunting people in New York. I was like, that sounds amazing. And then this is a woman tricking people basically into coming to her home, or, you know, putting them within, I don't know, a block away so she doesn't have to go too far.
Yeah, she's a little lazy.
Yeah. And that kind of took away from it, because I was very much, I was like, yeah, give me hard target, but just make it complete, like, nonstop chase and put it in New York.
That's fair.
So,
the movie on paper is very different than the movie on the screen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think for what it is, I think it's probably fine. Like, I don't think it's particularly badly made, especially, again, not being even remotely versed in this genre of movie and the style of filmmaking. Like, it seems fine. It doesn't overstay its welcome for the most part, which is nice. Like, it comes in pretty lean. It's a
69-minute long movie.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Yeah, I think for me too, like, it took me until halfway through the movie to realize that the orgy was a framing device for the story.
Yes, it was an orgy where they needed heroin. They had the pot, but no one had heroin, and it was a real problem. And that is the wraparound plot of this movie.
Yeah, and
I
it took
hate
me.
it. Yeah, when you show up to one of those and there's no heroin.
Where's the heroin, guys? And
Yeah.
this is also like pre-Altamont and pre-AIDS, so like, you know, that probably like heroin was probably really the worst thing happening at that party.
Oof.
Oh yeah,
You know, like we're still like in hippie age, and no one's really getting that sick.
yeah, and it just and that because we, like it just that was unclear. I think the storytelling was kind of all over the place, and just like little stuff like that. Like it was not clear to me until way after it should have been.
Okay, that's fair.
You know how it is. You go to the orgy and then darn it, somebody shoots you with a crossbow.
Like on your way, and then also after.
Yeah, and because of that, like I had trouble figuring out just a lot of stuff. It's like, okay, oh wait, no, okay, so that was supposed to be a flashback, I guess. Yeah, it just.
Yeah, a lot of the movie is flashback and is briefly flashback within a flashback. We do get flashback within a flashback. Here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Very fair.
I would say that as well. It's hard to follow at times because of that, and even having read later that those scenes were inserted, seem to have been inserted later, and were not part of the original cut of the movie, which like brings that into a different light. Like, okay, so this used to be one thing and it was turned into another.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did find a lot of the camera work really interesting when, like, during the hunt where she's chasing the guy through the woods or
Through the park, through Central Park, I think.
Mm-hmm. That was, and it was using handheld cameras in ways that I'm not used to seeing them being used at this time.
For sure.
Yeah, I do think the camera work was pretty solid in this, and a lot of those sequences were also part of the good for me.
Yeah, totally. And that's the stuff I'm really responding to. I mean, like the orgy framing device, I think is just really funny as a juxtaposition to everything else that's happening. And,
it's hilarious.
And I appreciate it very much in that way. I mean, but also like, yeah, I guess I have seen more of these kinds of movies than you guys. I guess I tend to forget that not everyone indulges in this kind of trash. And it's not something I like, is like number one on my list, but I mean, I guess I've seen it enough for like the threadbare and difficult to follow plot not be so much of an issue for me. Because once you're piecing it together, it's just like, okay, this guy, blah, blah, blah. Ultimately it more or less works, but it's very disjointed. I mean, it is a 69-minute long movie that tries to do too many things.
Yeah.
If you're trying to talk about it as if it's a real movie, which it is debatable.
Yeah, it's funny that you guys mentioned those scenes being added, because it was very clear that first off, I feel like I buried the lead on this. Jake LaMotta, the boxer, is in this movie. Like I was reading about it as I was watching. I was like,
this is a
Jake
real
LaMotta?
guy?
Yeah, this is the guy that Raging Bull is based on.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so he retired from boxing within a decade of this movie being made, and he was in 15 movies, and this was one of them.
Why wasn't in Raging Bull this like part of the plot? We see Robert De Niro shooting this movie.
Yeah, like, because I saw it and I was like, that can't be like. I haven't seen Raging Bull. It's one of my big culture gaps, but I know that it's based on Jake LaMotta, like a real boxer, a real heavyweight champion. And I saw that, I was like, there's no way it's this. And I clicked through and it linked to the boxer's Wikipedia. I was like, they probably did this wrong. Like it's probably just a guy with the same name. Looked up, was like, nope, this is Jake Raging Bull LaMotta.
And and he also gets killed in the style, like she's dressed up as a matador, and he's killed as if he's a bull.
Yep, which I feel like that had to probably have been changed when he was cast.
That's kind of wild. I had no clue.
Yeah, that was pretty great. I mean, also that whole sequence was ridiculous, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that camera-wise, that was maybe my favorite sequence with like you got into like really extreme close-up on him as he's just like careening down alleyways, and the whole thing is just like leading him handheld camera. It's like this really wild, really intense thing. That like was really, that scene was like really, really, really working until like the Matador part with her went on for like 300% too long.
Yeah.
And like really dragged it out in a way that didn't feel interesting or suspenseful.
Yeah, like within the first minute of that, I was like, all right, this is a pretty cool setup. Like, she's going to kill him. And I was like, oh no, this is going to go on for way too long. Okay, got it. Cool.
Yeah, in a movie that's 69 minutes long, it's like that's 3 of it. I'm sorry, Trav.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just saying, I love the way she was taunting him over the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the other thing I was going to say. So during that scene, it seemed pretty clear that girl they brought in, whose profession was clearly not acting, like that
the woman playing
the
woman playing the Rocco's prostitute.
Yes.
Yes.
It was very apparent that they did not shoot that scene together.
Yes.
Like distractingly so. One, because of her bad acting, and it just like didn't seem like either of them were barely really reacting to a person. But also, this was like a nuts thing, and I noticed it because when I was making stuff early on, it was something that I missed and fucked up. There's like a drastic audio jump in the room tone between those shots when they cut back and forth. And like
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, like so every time they cut to just her, it sounds like they recorded with like an in-camera mic or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
she clearly was not like wired for sound the way the rest of the movie was, and it was just distractingly apparent.
Yeah, the disconnected nudity scenes were the same way too. That one couple that was like just making out in the corner for the entire movie.
Yeah.
Could rarely hear anything that they were saying.
Yeah, that was really that was like Tenet level bad dialogue.
Oh no, you don't want that.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is this movie is on the level of a Christopher Nolan sound mix.
Parts of it, yes. The difference is I could actually hear more of the dialogue in this.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
No, but you know what? You're right. I did notice that in that scene with Rocco and her, but like there are shots of Rocco with the reverse shots where there are a woman's legs on the bed. So like clearly like that was a similar scene, probably just with drastically different dialogue and a dressed actress.
Yeah.
But there was someone else on the bed at the very least. But so
That's fair.
any wooden acting on his part is then his fault.
I think he was fine.
He was actually pretty
fine
good
in that scene.
And I think oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say between him and the girl playing, what was it, Elaine, whoever the main girl is hunting them.
I just keep calling her Psycho Cat. Oh, Virginia Marcus.
Yeah. Psycho Cat. There you go. I think the actress's name was Elaine. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, her and LaMotta were both great. Like I think they were the best performances in the whole movie.
Like she really goes for it in this movie.
Yeah.
She's like really out there. It's very over the top. It's not like really good, but she's like really going for it. And it's a lot of fun to watch.
Oh yeah. And her, like, she feels like she's in the movie she's supposed to be in.
Yeah.
And a lot of the performance, because this, especially the sex scenes, like they feel like they're there to pad out the runtime, which they absolutely are.
Yeah.
And look, I don't want anyone listening to think that I'm a prude. I am all for nudity and sex when it serves the movie.
Sure. But sometimes
also when
you watch an exploitation movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Also when it doesn't serve the movie, but they go back to that well a lot.
Yeah.
And I think it's the abundance where it's like, look, you know, if I'm seeing titties in a Friday the 13th, it's because Jason Voorhees is going to come in and kill somebody.
Sure. It is interesting though, like in that way, this is this movie is a filthy movie for that reason, but it is fairly chaste. It is like,
yeah, it's tame.
It's like really, and this was pretty extreme for the late 60s. Hardcore pornography was still illegal. So like this was as like racy as it would get in the late 60s. Because Russ Meyer movies like you're talking about, most of them actually weren't, there wasn't nudity. It was, you know, a lot of implied, a lot of very buxom women, you know, in tight clothes and with low cut shirts and stuff, but it wasn't like the framing devices are not orgies, you know, like the motorcycle gang is not riding around without their tops on.
It was the idea that a titty might pop loose.
Yeah, it was more like that. And some angry pedant on the internet, please correct me if I'm wrong if you're listening to this show, but because I'm not the most familiar with Russ Meyer. I've seen Faster Pussycat a good handful of times, but
it's like jazz. It's all about the titties you don't show.
Russ Meyer's jazz films. I did notice in the cast list, it's Eileen Lord who plays Psycho Cat, and Dick Lord who plays Charles Freeman, the actor character in the movie. I wonder if they are married, and also Dick Lord.
Please, Dick Lord was my father. I'm Penis Lord.
I loved in his storyline, of him getting pursued on his day. She murders so many other people inadvertently to try to get to him. Because the deal is, she makes the deal with these three men, because they have all killed someone in their past. So now she's going to do a societal revenge on them. But if they can survive 24 hours, they can cash this check she sends them for $100,000 that's post-dated one day. Oh, the days when post-dating a check meant anything. And so they won't be able to cash it unless they survive the next morning. And there is later where, like, when Buddy leaves the party to go get heroin, even though he's being pursued by the woman with the crossbow, he leaves the check at the apartment, and the woman, you know, is like, oh, well, I hope he comes back so we can cash this check. And he, like, wouldn't endorse it until he came back. Why not? Like, why not just endorse it, man? They'd give it back to you, maybe. I don't know. But so in the actor one, he gets a call from a producer of a play saying, please come out and do this play for us tonight. A bunch of our actors were just involved in a car accident. So him needing to go do that because he's a down on his luck actor, but also needing to avoid this woman, gets his across the hall neighbor to dress up like him and go out first. Basically sending this guy to his death, right? Like, as far as he knows, he is sending him to die. The movie never shows if he does die, but as far as that guy ever knows, he just sent that man to his death because his across the hall drunk ass neighbor annoyed him.
Yeah, he never saw him again after that. So.
Nope. And then we also find out that Psycho Cat knows the producer of this play somehow, so probably orchestrated that car wreck to get him to come out of his apartment. So that's on her hands too. She's quite psycho. Yeah.
I will say, I do like the added conceit of her kind of waging psychological warfare on her victims.
Mm-hmm.
Like knowing exactly how to draw them out.
Yeah.
Like on paper, there's a lot of stuff that I do like about this movie, and her as a character, I think is good. But yeah, like, cause she uses the play to lure a down on his luck actor, a Johnny Drama, if you will, out of hiding. She doesn't necessarily orchestrate it, but the one Buddy, it's not Buddy, whatever the drug dude is, the heroin guy, he leaves to get a fix, and then literally calling up Jake LaMotta and just taunting him for being, you know, out of his prime and a false champ since he hasn't had to defend the title since he retired.
Yeah,
like all great bits, all phenomenal character touches.
Yeah, just in a real dumb rapper. That guy's name is Buddy, by the way.
Buddy, okay.
Yeah, it is Buddy. The drug dealer's name is Buddy.
Yes. Oh no, I thought the actor was Buddy. That was my issue. I got.
Gotcha. No, that guy was Frank Garassi. I don't know.
Ah, okay.
if that's how to pronounce his name. He was in some other stuff. That's cool. He was in The Hard Way as a newsman.
Oh,
Nice.
right there with Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, and Stephen Lang.
Yeah, and James Woods.
And Christina Ricci.
Yeah.
And James Woods.
Directed by the baddest of hams, John Badham.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen that movie. I should watch that movie.
It's good. I like it. It's one of the few James Wood-led movies that I will still defend in spite of him being, James Woods.
Yeah, I mean, like, no one's watching James Woods movies that he's made in the 21st century. We just want to watch Videodrome and things he made in the 80s and maybe through 1992.
Yeah. I'll give him up to John Carpenter's Vampires.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. John Carpenter's Vampires, huge asterisk exception. Yeah, that movie's...
Yeah.
I hesitate to say great, but I do own it on Blu-ray.
It's a fun time.
It's a special movie.
Yeah.
It has a Baldwin.
Yeah, a Baldwin. Not the Baldwin, but definitely a Baldwin.
Not any of the top 3 Baldwins, but a Baldwin.
I will God, is Steven or Daniel the bottom Baldwin? Which do you think?
No, Daniel's the bottom.
Daniel's the bottom. Steven is number 2. Even like post, like, evangelical Christian weirdo Stephen Baldwin, he's still number 2.
Oh, Stephen Baldwin and Head from Corn should be buddies.
Yes, they should. I think they actually are. I think maybe they may be.
And they can go hang out with Head's friend Mike Huckabee.
Oh my God, is that true? Head is friends with Mike Huckabee.
Head went on Huckabee's show because Huckabee is a bass player, and they played blind together.
No,
there is video of it on YouTube.
Did he play a 5-string down-tuned bass?
He only played a 4-string, and he was probably in standard.
Okay, great. That makes me feel a little bit better. I don't want to live in a world where Mike Huckabee understands drop C tuning on a 5-string bass.
It's insane. Highly recommend watching. It's a fun time.
Oh man, I didn't think I'd come out of this podcast hating our planet just a little bit more. How about this is one of the best trophy rooms we've seen in a Most Dangerous Game.
That was one
adaptation.
of the design on that trophy room was fantastic. I was like, why?
I think design is
a
strong word. I think it was more like let's in the prop
actress's
shop.
real life trophy room.
Yes.
It was great. Like that's. I kind of wish we'd spent more time in her home in general.
Yeah. Just that that room just looked like they went to the prop house and took literally every taxidermied animal that had a wall mount.
Yep.
And figured out how to put it in there. The swordfish, just like as that giant centerpiece, but it's like at like chest height.
Yeah.
That was the most insane thing. Because that's just going to stab you as you're walking around the room.
The stipulation should have been, because if it wasn't going to be what I wanted it to be, instead of running around New York, they should have just been confined to her ridiculously giant place.
Seemed to be ridiculously giant.
Yeah.
Her brother's away on safari, so there's got to be a huge amount of family money going on.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was going to say, anybody living in New York that, can afford a trophy room.
Right.
Yeah. Or to not have a roommate.
For sure.
And this is also the strongest financial reward, I think, offered in any of the movies when adjusting for inflation. $100,000 in 1968.
Yeah.
That's a crazy offer.
Yeah, better than $10,000 in 1994. It was 94 and 95 for Hard Target.
93.
What was
93.
the pest offered?
50,000.
50? Okay, then better than that.
100,000 in 1968. What's inflation? Let's figure that out. Serve me well, the internet. See, the clacky keyboard is good for illustrating I'm doing something in this instance.
When it's clacking, there's work being done. The keyboard's a clacking, don't come a jacking. I don't know.
That would be so cumulative rate of inflation is 715% since 1968. So
oh wow,
that is $815,275 now. That's like almost
Right.
$1 million offer.
I'd let somebody try to kill me for that.
Yeah, I would do that. Can you imagine
That's
how
why
much
most of us-
heroin that would buy?
Yeah, all he had to do was wait a few more hours. All I kept thinking was like, you have $100,000. You could buy lots of heroin. Explain.
Explain how.
Yeah. Like that's why we can't afford houses, because nobody's offering to hunt us for sport. I bet if we go up to Santa Clarita next weekend or Beverly Hills somewhere, just kind of wander around in front of some mansions at some point. I don't know, maybe Ed Begley Jr. will pop out. I was like, excuse me, gentlemen. I have a proposition for you. See, I am a fantastic hunter. But I feel as though I've exhausted what this planet has to offer. All game but one. The most dangerous game.
Oh, man. This would be a great reality. But if you wanted to try to actually lure Ed Begley Jr. out, I think he lives in my neighborhood.
Oh.
I've seen him walking to the post office before.
I know that he. I know that he does.
That's funny. Hollywood is a small town, you guys.
Yeah.
These are my confessions.
That was good, Travis. I don't think that's a new one.
Yeah,
It
it's a good one.
is. It was for this, and I had yet to play it.
Oh, nice. Very
Oh. I'm frankly surprised that I haven't gotten to a fist fight with a bald one yet. I've been here 8 months and change.
These are my confessions.
good. I used to do karaoke with Richard Karn's son, Cooper.
Oh,
Wow.
Dick Karn.
These are my confessions.
I'm looking at my notes to see if I have any other strong
I would
feelings
say
about
like
anything else.
the music was like also very interesting, like during the scenes that were cut in later. I'm like, this is some weird music. And also the dog getting thrown off of the roof.
Oh yeah, that was dark.
Oh, that was very dark. That was a flashback within a flashback, where she was lying to her doctor about how her dog died. Said her brother killed it by accident, or was that what she told him? Or I don't remember what she actually told him, because I was just concentrating on the visual of where they threw a freaking dog off of the roof of an apartment building in New York City.
Yep.
And it showed it. Like, I mean, obviously it wasn't a real dog, but they showed the stuffed dog like going down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was still nuts.
I did note some lines of dialogue I thought were particularly good. That woman sounds real goofy, declared one orgy goer after Buddy was telling them about what was going on.
Yeah. Because when I was looking at this, hold on. Like, this movie only has 12 reviews on IMDb, but the top review is somebody who says, like, I was there and I saw this movie, like he saw a screening of the movie, back in the 60s, and said that when he visited it again later, he saw that they had like added all of these like sex scenes, and he was like, oh, this is not in the cut that I saw. And he is hopeful that sometime they can release the other cut.
Yeah, I haven't seen any documentation online of the other cut.
Yeah,
unfortunately, because I too would be very interested in watching a more straight version of this.
Yeah, I just find it crazy that somebody like who actually like literally saw this, theatrically.
They probably like
posted a review.
lived in New York City at the time and just saw it in some like one of the many like little shithouse movie theaters that were in New York in the 60s and 70s and 80s.
Yeah, that someone not only was a person who experienced that, but that was also the same kind of person who's like, I need to put this in an IMDb review and I need to mention this so that the world can know. Like,
that's really interesting. And I can't even find a different Can you find a different title that the original cut was?
This movie is also known as Three Loves of a Psycho Cat.
Hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh my God, cats.
Psycho cats.
Yeah, interesting. I would. Oh, well, maybe I should have done more research before we did this.
Written by Billy Boyd, not the same Billy Boyd who was a Hobbit.
Not the same Billy Boyd.
As directed by Eve, but not the same Eve that was in the hit film Triple X.
Correct.
Barbershop.
Oh, yeah. Also, Barbershop's Eve.
Barbershop's Eve.
God.
Don't steal her apple juice.
That was a deep pull.
Yeah, I mean, just because that movie's fresher on my mind.
I mean, you are the biggest Barbershop fan I know.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, you know what? I know people who know people in this world, and I'm gonna ask other people to do homework and follow up about it after this show.
Oh.
Yeah.
Special report.
We'll see. But I would be like just incredibly interested to see. Because I have to imagine that there was like an amount of nudity in the original version. Because I'm pretty sure like they wouldn't have gotten Buddy back, that actor back, to shoot the same like more scenes in the same wardrobe as the real scenes, and like when he's telling other people the story. So like there's still like nude women in those scenes, like in shots with Buddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That are very like obviously apart from like the couple making out in the corner, or the couple like cuddling on the couch, or you know, the guy sleeping in the bed that has like one woman who's like, here, you come have a turn. Like, okay.
Yeah. A lot of heavy petting and dry humping in this movie.
Yep. And one guy forgetting he's wearing pants because he's just very concerned about where the heroin is.
Yep.
So that's your most dangerous game.
So I'm going to start referring to mine as.
What else do I got? Oh, I did notice. So when Buddy is when like right before he shoots up, he seems like when he finally gets the drugs before he dies, and he goes to shoot up, he has a withdrawal reaction right before he's able to actually manage to shoot up. Right? That's what it seems like, as he pukes in the toilet.
Uh-huh.
And then shoots up, and only then does he close the door. He gets killed very shortly after, but he runs into an automat, which is this very outdated style of restaurant that was, I think, more popular in Europe, but had some presence in the United States. But it was like, you'd walk in and it was just enclosed cabinets of pre-made sandwiches or slices of pie or like French fries or like whatever, and you'd put $1 in the machine, you could slide open a door and get the thing, and you never had to interact with a person. The food was all made fresh, but they were all behind all this stuff, so you never had to interact with a human being, and you could just grab a quick bite to eat. And it just made me miss automats. I like that idea.
Yeah.
It's a solid idea. Target pickup's not the same.
Yeah. No, it's not. What else? Oh yes, she at the end she claims, "I did not murder, I safaried." I liked that line.
These are my confessions.
I like she took it upon herself to like mete out punishment, but they all did time for their crimes, yes?
Yes, she just really wanted to kill people, I think, and just found an excuse to like make it justified. You know, like, no, I'm not crazy. I was doing society a favor. You're crazy for thinking that I'm crazy.
She pulled a Dexter.
Yeah.
Which I mean also just pushes it further. It was like, if that was the plan, why make a game of it at all? Like, if you're gonna do Punisher shit, just do Punisher shit.
That's a fair point. Maybe she, I mean, yeah, there's no actual answers for these, but
maybe she started doing that, and she's like, I gotta freshen
that
this
could
up.
be. I mean, she obviously does a lot of killing around the subject as well.
Yeah.
So there's that. But her brother's on safari. Maybe she's obviously got some weird thing going on with her brother too.
Yeah.
That we don't really get into in the movie, but there, that relationship, like that guy, that actor, also like acting on another planet in this movie. Like,
Yep.
that was kind of great. The brother character coming back from safari, and he's like, and the timeline of this movie is so wacky because he says he'll be back in 24 hours, and then he's in the movie. He's there like 90 seconds later, and it doesn't seem like a day has passed.
Nope.
You just kind of have to assume that it has.
I ran as fast as I could straight from Africa.
Oh yeah, also I thought it was funny when Buddy is trying to find the heroin and he's literally just asking every man that is standing by themselves against a wall or pole until one of them has heroin. That's his entire methodology for finding drugs. Yeah.
I heard that's how you do it.
I guess.
I mean, to be fair, if there weren't dispensaries out here, I just like walk down the street. Edibles? Edibles?
Oh man. It is a nice luxury to have those dispensaries.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I have any more thoughts on Confessions of a Psychocat. There's other stuff in this mode I could recommend, but if you like these kinds of movies, I think it's pretty easy to do the research and figure out what you want to watch. One thing that's not related to this movie, because it's actually like a hardcore porno, but like it's in that it on paper it is, because there's penetration, but it is like the least sexy thing anyone has ever seen. It is called Bat Pussy. It's from 1971. It is believed to be the first superhero porno parody. And it is 62 minutes of the least sexy things you have ever seen in your life. The main characters are a husband and wife, seemingly, who are trying to have sex the whole time, but they're both drunk, and his dick isn't working.
Oh no!
And that's just reality. That's not a part of the movie. That's just what's happening. And it's just a single shot of this like 3-wall set in a very echoey soundstage, where sometimes you can hear the audio completely mute, and then the actors react to something. So it's obvious that's when they're being directed. Even to a point where once the audio ducks, comes back up, and the guy goes, "What?" The audio ducks again, comes back up, and then they continue with the scene.
Oh my!
And the loose plot is, Bat Pussy is a superhero who can't abide by it when people are having sex and she's not there. So her alarms go off when these two people start having sex, and then she makes her way on an exercise ball. I'm like not kidding. She bounces like on an exercise ball until she gets there, and then they have the least erotic threesome you've ever seen, where he keeps calling her Batgirl, and the wife has to keep correcting him to say Bat Pussy. It's amazing. I owned it on Blu-ray. I recommend it to humans. Adult humans. Because it's really funny. No one knows who directed it. No one knows who made it. It was found and Bat Pussy might not be the actual title. It was found as a print in an abandoned porno theater in, I think, Tennessee. It was probably locally produced, and there's no title information or anything on it. It was just this print of a 62-minute thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
We need to do like a deep dive and some research. Like, what?
This is our Zapruder film.
Yeah. I mean, I just watched 8mm, and I'm like, sounds like giving me Nick Cage on this scene.
Sounds like a job for Max California. Rest in power. What boutique label put Bat Pussy on Blu-ray?
Agfa.
Yep. Okay, that tracks.
Agfa and Something Weird. Something Weird found the print. In the late 90s, and then Agfa restored it like in the last few years and put it out on Blue.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was my thought. It was either that, because like my first thought was Vinegar Syndrome, but Agfa makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, like if Agfa hadn't done it, Vinegar Syndrome would have gotten there eventually for sure.
Oh yeah.
It's it. And I bought it because I'm just like, I don't know how long this is going to be in print for. I don't know how many copies of this they made. I think I need this. I just blind bought it.
It's the same reason people are buying Vinegar Syndrome's Dead Heat starring Joe Piscopo.
Oh my god, dude! It's not Vinegar Syndrome that's doing it, but one of the boutique labels is doing a 4K release of Rawhead Rex, and I'm just like, why? Why is anyone doing that? No one likes this movie. Like literally, no one likes this movie.
They're like, I definitely buy my share of these things, but they're frequently, it's like, here's this. I was like, for who? Who is this for?
Yeah. But yeah, no, Vinegar Syndrome is doing important work. I personally think that the 4K release of the uncut version of Tammy and the T-Rex is one of the most important Blu-ray releases of all time.
That is actually was on my list. I was looking at it earlier today because they're doing their sale.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it's like the best movie, and the 4K, if you're going to buy one, like the 4K version, you don't need to pay the premium on it, like just buy the normal Blu-ray. There's not that much like sharpness that you're gaining, but just like the fact that like that effort was put into that movie and it was that company's first 4K release and all this stuff, I'm just like, in the history of home video, that feels like a significant release to me.
Yep. I don't think I've told this story on here before. Tammy and the T-Rex, when it originally came out. So when I was growing up, this would have been, I was in middle school, I think, when Tammy and the T-Rex came out. There was a pretty decent video store in my crummy little hometown. It was like the one good thing about it. Mm-hmm. So went there, rented it because I would just frequently buy stuff based on how cool I thought the cover looked. So picked it up, took it home, watched it, was definitely way too young to appreciate or even enjoy it. Finished it, rewound it, and said, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen. Walked back, and the video store was probably about a mile or so from my place. So I walked there to rent it, walked back home, then I walked back with the tape to the video store. I said, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. I'm in here all the time. You know I've never done this. I refuse to pay. I will rent something else, but I will not pay money for this rental. And then I think I ended up renting like The Shadow or something like that.
That's a good movie though.
Oh yeah, The Shadow is great. I love The Shadow. But
yeah, that's probably the correct reaction to the PG-13 version of Tammy and the T-Rex. Like there's some parts of it that are actually so violent that I didn't really understand how they would cut around them in the PG-13 version, and the answer turned out to be very poorly.
Yep. It was weird. Like, I didn't know how to process. I was like, this is supposed to be fun. I was like, this is the most violent stuff I've seen in a movie masquerading as a comedy. What am I watching? Yeah. And then her seducing a brain jar at the end.
Yes, that does happen. The thing is, everyone knew exactly what they were doing. No one thought the brain jar was like great cinema. They thought it was just going to be how the movie got done, you know, like,
oh, for sure.
And that's like, that's the great thing about that release too, is like, there's interviews with everyone who made the movie. Like Denise Richards is interviewed like on the Blu-ray for Tammy and the T-Rex. It's amazing. They're willing to talk about this.
Yeah. Everybody needs to give Denise Richards a break.
Yeah. She was really funny in her 30 Rock cameo that one time.
Yeah, she's perfect in just about everything she does. Drop Dead Gorgeous. Come on, get out of here.
That movie's so good.
But everybody's like, oh, she was playing a physicist in a Bond film. I was like, look, everybody in a Bond movie is probably out kicking their coverage with whatever type of character they're playing. Mm-hmm. Like, spoiler alert, Robert Carlyle can feel pain in real life, so shut up. But yeah, Denise Richards gets a bad rap, I think, and I'm tired of it. I know I take a lot of controversial stances, like Brendan Fraser seems wonderful, which I think nobody is in disagreement about.
Yeah, I don't think anyone ever disagreed with that idea.
No, but I will go to bat for Denise Richards and 3 James Woods movies.
All
right.
Which 3? So we know that the Hard Way, probably Videodrome.
And vampires.
Vampires. Not
I will
Salvador.
also. This is less of a James Woods starring. I will also go to bat for White House Down.
There's one from like there's a James Woods movie from the late 80s, I think, called The Boost, where him and his wife get addicted to Quaaludes. It's a character drama about Quaaludes starring James Woods. So that exists
nice.
if that's something that you want to watch. I can't remember if it was good or not, but like
it sounds interesting if nothing else.
Yeah, I've forgotten enough about it that it's like almost interesting to me again to watch it as if I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'll also go to bat for the episode of Entourage that he's in.
Cool.
Oh, that's funny. And his Simpsons
also got to
cameo.
remember he was on Hercules, which was as a child.
He's great as Hades.
Yeah, how I was introduced to him, and I had no like context for who James Woods was, and like it's only like now that like my kids are watching Hercules, and I hear his voice. I'm like, oh, there's James Woods.
Yeah, he is fantastic in that too. All right, there's a couple things, and Denise Richards.
The Clerks cartoon cameo.
Oh, he was also he was in Cat's Eye. He's an awesome segment of Cat's Eye.
Yeah.
All right, he's in a decent. Here's what I won't go to bat for: his Twitter feed.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's where he tends. That's where he seems to do all the most damage.
Yeah, for sure. All
right, we should stop talking about him before we start.
He's gonna come for us.
Sued. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what I
just
hear
like
happens.
he came for Johnny Drama.
I was actually the other day wondering in my head if I could goad James Woods into responding to me on Twitter. Like if I could just like dedicate my Twitter to that for a week of just like goading James Woods into responding to me.
I feel like you can definitely goad Nick Searcy and Adam Baldwin into responding to you.
Oh, really? Adam Baldwin's that way?
Yeah, Adam Baldwin kind of sucks.
Well, at least he plays a bad guy in the X-Files. I watch the rewatch the X-Files more frequently than I rewatch Firefly.
Yeah. Adam Baldwin, not related to any of the other Baldwins we were talking about.
Not part of the Baldwin dynasty.
He's the least Baldwin. He's the lessest Baldwin.
Oh my.
He may be. That may be true. Okay. I don't really know if I have any more thoughts.
Yeah, I think we've got it.
Unless we want to keep talking about James Woods, I think I'm plumb out.
Yeah, I saw my James Woods. I mean, the episode, all 6 episodes of Clerks the cartoon are just like beautiful. It's just a perfect, weird little time capsule that everyone should spend 2 hours of their life watching every once in a while.
Oh yeah, worth it.
Bear's driving. How can this be?
All the time in my head is Clerks cartoon quotes just for no reason, including Bear is driving. There's it's Ted Danson.
Why are we walking like this?
Why are we walking like this? You take break now. For break, get whipped while pull cart with teeth.
I should get that box to collection again because I sold mine years ago.
They used to call me Sexy Randall the Pharaoh Wizard. No, they didn't. That one guy did. It's a great show. Watch Clerks the cartoon.
Yeah.
It's 22 years old now.
Ooh, wow.
You're welcome.
Oh boy.
So no show next week is the thing.
Yeah.
We're taking a week off. We have other stuff going on. I'm seeing a midnight movie. We got other stuff going on. So we're gonna take a week off, but we'll be back the following week, I would think. And
I most likely will not.
Oh, you're gonna be in Alaska, so we might be 2 weeks off.
Oh.
Well, we've done 6 episodes. That's a nice place to take a little.
Be grateful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's free, you dinguses.
No, I'm just saying it's a nice number as like a little, we can have a mid-season break.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you guys dinguses, listeners.
Yeah, because he kind of just called Sarah a dingus, and that may be it.
Yeah, unless you got something negative to say about Denise Richards, in which case I do got something negative.
So I nominated this one. Who has thoughts on what our next title should be when we return?
I mean, like I was gonna say Predators. However, like when you think about it, like any Predator film is going to be this. Like we could just cover every Predator movie. But Predators specifically is like the one. The Running Man, I know, has been brought up, as well as Surviving the Game. I know you guys have been wanting to cover. So
yeah, I'd be fine with any of those. I feel like Predator is the most out of the Predator movies, though.
Yeah, for sure. It's the only one that I own. Predators is absolutely my favorite Predator movie.
Oh, interesting.
And it's not to say I don't like Predator. Predator is great.
Yeah.
But Predators, it's kind of like Texas Chainsaw and Texas Chainsaw 2. Like, I love and understand the value of the one, but I really prefer the other.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. Gremlins and Gremlins 2.
Yes, that's another one.
There you go.
Bill and Ted, Excellent Adventure versus Bogus Journey. Yeah. So that's where that falls into for me. So, okay. Do we think Predators then? We're talking about Predators. We're going to jump ahead 50 years in cinema and Nimrod Antal's Predators.
Yeah.
All right. Great.
I'm fine with that.
It's fine with me.
That sounds awesome.
I've been watching way more Topher Grace than I thought I would.
Interstellar's Topher Grace. From the man who cast Topher Grace in a serious sci-fi drama, soon to come Josh from Drake and Josh in a serious sci-fi drama. Thank you, Christopher Nolan. That guy's face bothers me. Not Nolan. The Josh. He was one of the characters in How I Met Your Father on Hulu, and it was.
Oh boy!
The combination of his physicality makes me uncomfortable in a way that I can't fully understand.
There's some people like that.
Yeah, sorry guy. I'm sure he's a nice guy. Sorry guy. So that'll be the weekend of April 9th and 10th. So somewhere in that weekend we'll do the show about Predators.
Well, that's the weekend I'm gone.
Oh wait.
It's
Is
another
it?
week.
Oh,
Yeah.
shirt. Okay, 16-17. April 16-17. Yeah. We'll try for that.
Cool.
Predators.
Is that Easter weekend?
Is it?
I do not know.
I would know if it didn't change every year.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Easter weekend. Why aren't we covering Critters 2?
Oh,
that is not the most dangerous game.
I would love it if it was.
Is that the one with the bounty hunters?
Yes, it is. And the Easter eggs.
The bounty hunters who hunt critters.
That's it.
They might not be the most dangerous game, but they're definitely a dangerous game.
They're a danger game, yeah. Is that weekend gonna work then, Travis?
Yes, that weekend works.
Okay. All right then, yeah.
Kids can go to bed early so they can wake up the next morning and get their Predator baskets.
It's like night vision goggles and laser guns.
Yep. And a spear.
And a spear.
And maybe a glaive.
So many blades. Okay.
Wesley Snipes.
So until then, Travis, you do this part of the show. I don't know.
Oh yes, I do. All right, Dustin, where can people find more of you?
DustinMeadowsComedy.com and at Dustin Meadows on Instagram and Twitter. If you're in Anchorage, Alaska, April 7th through the 10th, you can catch me there doing shows. I also do a podcast called New Metal Who Dis. You can find it on all your podcatchers. We took a week off from that, but our next episode is going to be a deep dive into Rammstein, so you can check that out.
Ooh.
I've been listening to so much German metal. Well, specifically German new metal.
Have you been listening to the German new metal while playing Ghosts of Hiroshima?
No, I have only been listening to. I don't have a joke here. No, I've just been enjoying the in-game score. I have been listening to Rammstein at work a lot though. It gets amazing. You pumped up.
It does. I love the first. I think was Mutter the third album.
Mutter was their third album.
Okay, yeah. I love the first 3 albums, and I like the whatever 4 was. I can't remember what that album was. I like that one.
Ich liebe erst alles.
Yeah, that had
it's the Loves for Everyone.
That had like Rein Raus on it and stuff, right? Was that
I think
on that
so.
record?
That is the one that had Pussy on it.
Yeah. Oh my god, that song. That song is so wild. But yeah, no, the first 3 albums I think are like amazing.
Yeah, I like their whole discography, but those first 3 are their best. Their most recent one, the Untitled, is pretty good, and they've got a new album coming out in a couple of months.
Oh, I'm glad they're still doing it.
And they're coming to LA this fall, and I'm probably going to go see them. So.
Oh, where are they playing?
The Memorial Center, I think.
I might want to see that.
Memorial Center?
I saw them in 2001 on the Mutter tour, and it was amazing.
I saw them in 2001 on the Pledge of Allegiance tour with System of a Down and Slipknot. They were fantastic.
That is a much better lineup than I saw them with. Friggin' Union Underground opened for them when I saw them.
Union Underground, who I saw on their headlining tour. Also, Rammstein's doing 2 nights.
Okay,
so.
Good. Okay, maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll see Rammstein later. All right, so that's where you can find Dustin Meadows at a Rammstein concert.
Yep.
And Alex, how about you?
You can find more of me just on this podcast right here. My @ works if you are inclined to look at that, and you can find Bat Pussy on Blu-ray at diabolicdvd.com.
All right. Get copies while you can. And you can find me at Travis Fishburne. You can find the show at Who Watches Pod on Twitter. You can reach the show at whowatchespodcast@gmail.com. We are streaming every week on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, where you can like and subscribe and comment and share and do all the things. And so, until next time, stay alive and survive.
These are my confessions.